Roxo Media House.
The passer penalty earlier in the first half. Hoover back to throw again over the middle. He's got his man. Trying to make a man miss. Still on his feet and near the 40-yard line for Chandler.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs. Your host, J.B. Wilson, as always, with Coach Sonny Dykes. Coach, we had a tough night in Lubbock last Thursday night. It's fallen 28-35 to those Red Raiders. Homecoming for you, of course, but what can you tell us about the game?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I mean, it's one of those games that it has been like several others we played this year. I think we've lost 4 conference games this year, and all 4 of those games we haven't been able to get any turnovers, and we've turned the ball over in all but one. And so it's, right now that's kind of the thing. If you look at our production offensively, it's up from last year. You look at our production defensively, it's up from last year in terms of yards per game. And so we're moving the football, and we're playing good defense at times. It's just we haven't been able to put it all together and do it consistently. And then at the end of the day, the turnover things have really have gotten us, and we've got more explosive plays this year than we had last year. We're not scoring touchdowns on those explosive plays. That's one of the big differences. When you look at the stats, we had 29 touchdowns last year over 40 yards, and this year we have 3. And so that's kind of been one of the things that's contributed to this. We're having to play more snaps, and when you do that, there's more opportunities to have penalties and more opportunities to turn the football over, all the things that have plagued us this year. So it's just, it's been kind of a convergence of a bunch of different things. But, we got down early in the game. It was 27 at halftime, and really loved the way our guys came out in the second half. And we played with a lot more passion in the second half than we did the first, and got back in the game, took the lead, and then immediately turned the ball over and lost our momentum, and then had a hard time, getting them stopped. And so frustrating night, but, our guys are playing hard. They're practicing hard. They got a great attitude. They want to win. They're disappointed, but at the same time, they know how important these last games are, and I think we'll get a great effort Saturday against Texas.
Surely. You mentioned the couple of turnovers. Josh Hoover had a really good game, aside from the 2 interceptions. You mentioned that.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he made a couple of throws that, 3 throws in the game that you just go, wow, those are big-time throws. And then he missed a couple of throws that I'm sure he'd like to have back, and then turned the ball over twice. And, most of the time when you have a turnover, it's not always on the quarterback. And there's a bunch of different things that kind of led to some of those, but at the same time, we just got to quit turning it over. I mean, that's been the difference really in all those games has been the turnover. So we just got to do a better job of taking care of the ball, and at the same time, we got to get some defensively.
Right. You mentioned that earlier in your first comments, the no quit. It's obvious to see this team doesn't give up. They fight to the very end, and they did it.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's part of the tradition of TCU. I mean, TCU's got a great history of football, and they always play hard, and and we got to continue to play harder. I mean, that's the thing that we have to do is we got to coach them hard. We got to play. They have to play hard. They want to win. I mean, things always go together. If you're not performing well, I've always said, when you lose games, it's because of coaches, and when you win games, it's because of players. And so we've got to figure out how to coach better, and that'll result in better play.
Oh, is there anything to read on seeing Chandler Morris in uniform on the sideline?
Yeah, so it's good to have Chandler back. I mean, we went into the game. He was kind of the emergency backup. He's practicing this week and going to have a full week of practice. And, we'll see kind of where he is from a health standpoint. I think the last thing in the world we're going to do is put him out there if he's not healthy. But he's getting there and starting to get back in the mix.
Right. Coach, you hear the term rebuilding year in the media, not through you guys, but does that do anything to you? I know this isn't what you're after, but does that term do anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's we felt like we had an opportunity to have a good team this season and be competitive, and we have been. We've lost 3 one-score games. We've been in every football game really except the Kansas State game rather, and there's no excuse for not being in that game. But we've got to learn how to make plays in those critical situations. That's been the difference. And last year we were 7-1 in one-score games. This year we're 0-3, and there you go. That's the difference right now. And so we have to learn to to be able to make plays down the stretch.
The team goals, is it easy to see? Is it just get bowl eligible?
The biggest thing is just try to win Saturday. That's our thing. We had the same approach last year. It was always let's just try to win one game on Saturday and see where that takes us. And last year it took us to the Big 12 championship and then on to the national championship. And this year, we're hoping it's going to take us to a bowl game.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll be right back with State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes.
We wouldn't be able to do the things we were able to do this year without the Flying T Club. So we got to continue to get people involved. It's more important right now than it's ever been.
Flying T is special. It's the best thing that I've encountered in college. It allows us to be able to offset a lot of the costs that our scholarships aren't able to cover. If people like winning, invest in the Flying T Club and NIL.
It's almost a necessity now in the college football world. I mean, you got to kind of invest in the programs, and what you put in is what you get out.
Hi, I'm Graham. I'm a freshman from Georgia, and I'm a business major.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm a freshman from Nashville, and I'm a nursing major.
Coach Dykes, and our question for you is, because there's so many awesome sports teams around here, do you have any time to go to their games?
Yeah, we do. I think sometimes, you're cheering for teams strategically, as far as the Big 12 standings go and that kind of stuff. So you cheer for teams that, the head coach or whatever. Mm-hmm. But in terms of TCU teams, I cheer for all of them. You know what I mean? We go to all the games, men's basketball, baseball. Look excited about going to women's basketball this year. My kids have been to soccer games. I haven't had a chance to go, but yeah, we're big TCU fans, and as I said, we cheer for friends in the profession on Saturday night, but most of the time we're cheering for TCU.
And your basketball season is about to kick off tonight, so any thoughts on the basketball team?
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be good. I know they got a bunch of good players. The big thing is just going to be putting it together. I think that's always the thing is, that's where the magic is, and seeing the team come together, and it's just going to be fun to see because they got a bunch of talent.
Thank you. Thank you, Graham and Aaron, for the question. We'll be right back, talk about our next opponent, the Texas Longhorns.
Simply the best barbecue in Fort Worth. Dine in, catering, or drive-through. 2900 Montgomery, just off I-30. Remember, the best barbecue in Fort Worth is at Railhead Smokehouse.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Coach, it's Big Texas Week. They're coming to town, ranked number 7 in the country. It's 6:30 p.m., Amon G. Carter Stadium, Saturday night, the night game. It'll be a lively crowd, as we know. Coach, you've beat Texas. TCU has beat Texas 7 of the last 9 times. So there's obviously a lot riding on this game for you personally, for the team, for the fans, everybody. What do you have to tell us about Texas?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a big game, for our fan base and our players. So it'll be a competitive game. I mean, our guys are going to be really fired up and ready to go play, and excited to have a chance to compete against a top 10 team. There's been a really remarkable amount of success TCU's had against Texas. I think 8-3 in the last 11 games, if I'm not mistaken. And so, we're used to having success against them, and hopefully we can go out and do it again Saturday.
Those that watch television and watch these games, they see that Texas is still probably playing their backup quarterback for this Saturday's game. Obviously, that could be helpful in some respects, but these guys look beatable if you watch the games. So do you feel like there's an opportunity?
No, for sure. Yeah, we just got to go play well. I mean, that's the thing with us is, we've done it at times this year against good football teams. We've gone out and performed well, and when we do that, this has an opportunity to be a good team. But we're going to have to, take care of the football. We're going to have to do a great job on third down and in the red zone, win the situational football, which we haven't been particularly good at this year, and then. Defensively, we've got to get stops and create some turnovers as well, and get some big plays, from our defense. And so it's going to be, should be a heck of a ball game. I know, again, our guys are excited to play and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. This will be the last time you guys play this team for a while because they're moving on to another conference. Any added?
Not really. I think, look, it's Texas, and guys are always excited to play against them. They're always going to have a lot of talent, and this team's no different. This is my 4th time to go against them as a head coach. When I was at Cal, we beat them back-to-back years, and then obviously we beat them last year. So we're 3-0 against them, and excited to try to make it 4-0. And they're always going to have really good football players. I mean, this team's no different. Very talented team. A lot of guys are going to be playing on Sundays on this team. They're built up front, big offensive, defensive fronts, which I think is a little bit different for Texas in the last decade. Really, they probably haven't been as good up front as they are now, and that's, I think, what makes this team different. So, we'll have our hands full, but at the same time, like I said, we're looking forward to it and excited about it.
Coach Steve Sarkisian, any history there?
Yeah, we go way back. I mean, he was at Washington and at USC when I was in coaching in the Pac-12, and so we've known each other for a long time, and our wives are friends, and we've spent time together in the off season.
Very nice, Coach. I found a story. It's been around for a while, but your father, Spike, his first big job was working for Darrell K. Royal at University of Texas. So you have some way old history.
Yeah, we do. We moved to Austin when I was 2 years old, and so I grew up. My dad was at Texas for 6 years and grew up. A Texas fan, when I was younger, and neighborhood kids, we'd round them up on Sunday and pile into into somebody's car and go play in the stadium on Sundays. So we kind of grew up playing in Memorial Stadium and with the neighborhood kids, and it's just something we used to do when we were kids. So a lot of memories from the place, but at the same time, I mean, when you're competing against them, it's all business, and you don't worry about that stuff.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Before we go, Coach, tell us a little about recruiting. The transfer portal is about to open up in a few weeks, I think. Anything you can share with us in that regard?
Yeah, it's getting ready to be, obviously a very important time in recruiting, and we've got a number of freshmen that are going to graduate early, and high school kids that are going to graduate early and enroll in January. So about 6-7 of those kids will be here, and then obviously it's going to be a very important time addressing some needs in the transfer portal. And so, my guess is we'll probably sign anywhere from 8 to 12 in the portal, and probably 20 high school kids. And so, that's kind of the number that most schools are working off of, about 30 new players a year, which is vastly different than it used to be, but kind of the new thing in college football.
Very good. Last question, attitude of the team from your perspective, everybody?
Yeah, I think angry, disappointed, but also, excited about this opportunity. I think our guys realize that this is a big game, and it always has a lot of meaning. There's going to be a tremendous crowd, and, national television, all the stuff. And so, the guys have worked hard all year. We've practiced well. We've prepared well, and now we just have to go out and play well. That's been the thing. We've just made too many mistakes in the past, and we got to do a better job of coaching and getting those mistakes out of our players.
Thank you, Coach, for the time. That is your State of the Frogs with your head coach, Sonny Dykes. Make sure you guys show up for the game Saturday night, 6:30, M&G Carter.
Roxo Media House.